I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, everybody? Hello. Welcome in. If you are watching or listening, then you know this is the All Rise After Show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm Alexis, your host for today, and with me, I have the woman bringing you all the sassy news and gossip. We have Zuri.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Zuri. We're back, and we have a really good episode to talk about. We're going to talk about Emily's case, which I think was probably the most interesting case Emily has had so far. That's just my opinion. We're going to talk about Marc and his dad's case. Lola went to go visit her man, honey. She was like, I need to get out of here and see my bae. And we're going to talk a little bit about Sherry and Police Bae. And we got some news and gossip and some more weird court cases to bring to you. But before we get into all that fun stuff, Zuri, what did you think of tonight's episode?
I really liked it. I feel like in the past, there's always been like something weird or we were thrown off a bit. But I feel like this episode, it was really consistent. I was on my toes the whole time. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. Like I said, I really liked Emily's case. I finally loved being able to see the dynamic with Lola and her husband, which we're going to talk about, because I'm like, where is this woman's man? We hear about him, but we don't see him. And it was interesting to kind of see, I guess, Marc and his dad make a little bit of a breakthrough. So a pretty good episode all around the board. Let's get into it with Emily's case. So she was basically kind of tricked into taking this young man's case. They had her come over to the house like, oh, he has a question about something that isn't illegal. And I'm thinking, what could you not know is illegal or not, you know? But she gets there and she realizes that he's actually a murder suspect, and she's telling them, oh, I can't rep you. Like, you know, you get assigned to me because I'm a public defender. But somehow, some way, and we don't see it, she just ends up being his public defender. Should we think that's just by luck, or is it just with this show things just happening so easily?
Right. I think with the show, things just work itself out. But I guess in terms of like a public defender, like they get cases. I don't see why they would care. Sometimes it's like, well, you're just going to get any old case. Why not just have this one if you want it, you know? So
yeah, I mean, it's like, is she the only public defender there? I mean, she's the only one we see on the show. So it just seemed crazy to me that at first it was, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get assigned to you. Then out of nowhere, it's, oh, I'm repping you now. Yeah. And it's like, how did that happen? Did she fight for it? Like, what do you think it was?
Just for amusement, I feel like she did go in there and put her foot down. Like, yeah, I want this case.
Maybe that's what she did. I mean, it seemed like she was pretty passionate about this case. And honestly, I thought that she was the best one to take the case. So I was hoping that she ended up with it. In the case, they had a young man who was accused of murder. At the beginning, they said that he had an alibi, that he was with his dad at the time. But it ended up being false. There was actually video footage of him there. Do you think it was stupid for them to lie about their alibi? And do you think that could have hurt the case?
Yeah, I mean, alibis generally are 50-50. Either you were there. There's no like real halfway doing it. So I think that they could have done a better job making sure that it would consistently match up, especially with Emily doing them a favor, because she could have easily said, actually, I can't trust either of you by. And we just went through all of this about her getting this case. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think it was a good idea to lie, but it doesn't seem like the other guy knew that Diego went out, was with the guys at all. It seemed like he would just kind of was looking for refuge. It doesn't seem like he was under the impression that he knows that he was out with them.
I know that Emily kind of felt a certain like she was meant to take this case, I guess, in a way. But do you think after finding out that, you know, the alibi was false, that she should have stepped down from it? Because they kind of tricked her into taking the case, and then they also lied to her about the alibi. So if it were you, would you have been like, I don't need to take this, you know?
Yeah, if it were me, honestly, I probably would have been, because I feel like now I can't trust either people. So that's like hard to put my career on the line, especially clearly careers follow you in this like industry, so I probably would have left.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So another thing that happened, which is one of those things in this show, I feel like there's always something where I'm like, can they really do that? Is that really allowed, or is it just for the show? And that's what she got, you know, the person who brought the case to her, one of his gang associates, I guess is what he was, to come on as a gang expert. And they said that they have gang experts all the time. Have you ever heard of that before? And what do you think a gang expert does?
I know, but I cost more than $10.
I just wanted that too. I was like, how much money money that she put out for this man.
Yeah, it's like $10. But I mean, I understand. I feel like people who work on the legal side of things may be completely clueless to gang culture. So I can understand that they might need someone to come in to help kind of be like the glue between the two worlds, because they're completely different worlds.
That's true.
And we get to see too how they kind of don't care. So maybe having someone who can speak the language of gangs, but also is like a decent human being as well, can, help hopefully like mend things.
That's a good point. Because when I was watching, I was like, gang expert? Like, what could they need a gang expert for? It automatically made me think about how Lori Loughlin from Full House and how she's going through that whole court case about bribing. And she was like, oh, she hired someone to teach her martial arts and teach her gang slang. And I'm like, is that what a gang expert is? Like, they come in and teach you gang slang and taekwondo and teach you how to survive in jail. So I was like, I don't know if people really do that, but I guess you find out something new every day that's a thing. But in him coming there, luckily he did. They got the real story in that he was kind of forced there, and he claims that he's the only one in the car who didn't, he said they took turns killing him and that he was the only person who didn't do it. But automatically my defenses kind of went up, because it's like they kind of have been lying this whole time to Emily. They lied about the alibi. They lied to get her to come to the house. When he said that, did you automatically believe him, or did you think that it could have been another lie?
I believed him because just how he said his piece, but I wouldn't be surprised if it would have come out that he did lie, because like you said, he kind of has a track record of not telling the full truth.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, how do you know that he's even telling the truth? Like, he didn't even tell you he was in the car. Now he's in the car. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that he's the only one in the car who didn't kill this person. But in having that conversation, it came out that the whole conversation was recorded, and there was another light bulb in my head where I was like, can they do that? Like, is that something that actually happened, or is that something that just took place on the show? But in the show, they made it seem like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that was a thing. And once they, went to court with it and they talked to Judge Carmichael about it, she actually said that they could use the recording. Were you surprised that Lola said they could use it, or like, what were you thinking about the whole recording in general?
I feel like I'm shocked that it doesn't happen more often. Like, I thought that because the whole point is you're getting your witness to talk, to tell the truth. So I imagine that the other side, the prosecutors, would always want to know what the conversation was. So I'm surprised that it doesn't happen more often. I was surprised that Lola kept the recording, but I think in terms of the people who showed up to her courtroom, what they had to say about her in D.C., like, I feel like now she can't just be this creative judge as much as she'd like to. So I think it was in her best interest to keep the recording.
Do you think now that she has a fear that people have been recording her?
Well, I think that she alluded. I wouldn't be surprised if in episodes to come that we would see that, because she was like, it's only a matter of time before they were recording me with her conversation with Judge Benner.
Yeah. The biggest shock for me, I think, not just that they allowed the recording, but that they were able to go and find the other three guys without even telling the defense that they were listening to this recording and that they were going to put out an arrest. Do you think that they should have at least told Emily that they heard the recording and that they were going to make this arrest?
I think they should have told her, but I think they could have gone about it a totally different way. Like, I think these guys, obviously, Diego's in jail, so they think that they got off. So they're not going to flee town anytime soon. So they could have easily let Emily do whatever she's going to do. Seems like things only took a few days here. Like, they would have had to wait 2 more days. Also, I guess that's 2 more days. They could have been killing someone else.
True.
I guess it's good that they moved as quickly as they did. But they also could have let this play out.
Right.
And I guess we wouldn't have this case. But
yeah. Because it seemed like the only time they ever talked to her about it was when she came to them like, yo, how are you able to do this? And then that's when they were like, oh, well, we recorded you. And, I just feel like if Emily was mad regardless, but at least give me the decency to know that you're doing this and that you're about to put this, so I can at least warn my client, because this is a sticky situation when you deal with gangs. You're not supposed to snitch.
They could have killed him in jail.
Exactly. There could have been so much. She said that they had to put him in solitary because of what happened. So to not even give her the heads up, I was really shocked by. And, even in doing all that, because that's how they handled it, I'm surprised once again that Lola was like, we can use the recording. But it seemed like Susie was a big influence to why she decided to do it. Do you think that her conversation as soon as he steered it? And if so, why do you think that was it?
When she like came and gave her monologue.
Her monologue.
I was sitting there like, girl, what is this?
Her whole life story.
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for Lola because here I am trying to do my job. This is already a tough case, and here you are dumping your emotional, baggage or however you're tied to this case. Like, I don't appreciate that. I'm trying to do my job. This is not easy.
Right.
So I wasn't a fan of that, but I don't know that I think it changed anything. Like, I think Lola has made it clear that she cares about people. She cares about the victim. She knows Diego is innocent. So I don't know that she even had to do that. Like, I think Lola would have made the right decision anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like, I guess, that was kind of her way of, I'm going to let the prosecution have that aspect of it because I'm going to try to steer him in the direction of cutting a deal and giving immunity. So it was kind of like letting both sides win. But I'm not going to lie. I was shocked that they just were like, well, let's cut a deal and give him immunity because at this point, it's going to be his word against 3 other people. So, in getting him that deal, do you think that there is even a chance that he could have won when it's, like I said, one person against 3 other people with no other evidence?
Right. I don't think that he would have won. I'm also shocked that they would bring him along to a murder and him not have to shoot the guy. That's kind of weird.
That's a very good point. Like, why would he need to be there?
Yeah, I get it to like pin the murder on him, but wouldn't you? If everyone's gonna shoot this guy, why wouldn't he shoot him too?
And obviously, there's a fear there because you were able to make him come there. So I'm sure there was a way to convince him to, shoot this person. So that's a really good point. I didn't even think about that. All right, before we go on, Zuri, do you have a message for our viewers?
I do. Hey, guys, just want to say thank you all for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. Thank you guys for being here with us every Monday night. If you're listening to this on the podcast, give us 5 stars. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment and give us a thumbs up. Lexi and I are both on other after shows, and we enjoy being here on AfterBuzz. So follow us. Make sure that you're up to date on all things TV.
Yes. And if you're watching on live stream, make sure you comment and let us know what you think. All right, so let's move on to Marc. Marc has had this weird situation with his dad, but he's still kind of in the mix of this ongoing murder case that we had. And they began it off today with that they found the murder weapon in his dad's house. Now, what was your thinking as soon as you found out that bit of information?
When I first heard that, I was just like, here we go. But I don't think that he murdered anyone, so I knew immediately it was planted.
So you automatically thought that he was innocent regardless. That's interesting. Yeah, because I thought the complete opposite.
You thought he did
I was like, oh, that means he did it. I was automatically like, well, he did it. Why else would he have the murder weapon? It never even crossed my mind that it could have been planted or who could have planted it. And I think that was Marc's thinking too. Do you think that he thought that his dad was guilty?
I'm not sure what is happening with Marc because it seems like his emotions are really clouding his judgment. Like, I don't even think that he's really sat down to think, like, would my dad actually kill someone? Like, I feel like he's just trying to block it all out and stick to the facts of the case, which I guess that's what you do when you deal, like, when you can't have your emotions tied into people's story. But this guy really, he's going to wait until he's 60 to murder someone. Like, if he was a murderer, he's going to do it way, like, a long time ago, especially in this line of work. Like, I'm sure there are plenty of people he could have murdered earlier.
Yeah. But, I mean, he has an abusive past. Do you think maybe that could have contributed to why Marc would think that?
Yeah, I mean, Marc knows him best, I guess, out of all of us. But I still feel... Yeah, I don't get murder vibes.
Yeah, because all we ever heard is that he's a gambler. And yeah, he was kind of abusive towards Marc, but we never heard about him killing anyone. And it seemed like his only issue was the gambling. But I think, even if Marc didn't think that he was automatically guilty, he did feel like they shouldn't have gone through the steps of getting the gun thrown out because of technicality. Did you agree with him in that aspect, or do you think they should have?
I think they should have got the gun thrown out if there's proof that they got it not illegally, but if they got the gun like without moral, like it should be thrown out because you can't just be out here making stuff up and just saying anything to get weapons.
Yeah,
I don't think that's good.
But it also on the flip side, at least for me, I feel like there may be people out there who really are murderers and really have done a crime, and because of one small thing, they get the whole gun thrown out, and now you have a murder out on the street because somebody put in the wrong information or that aspect. So for me, I was kind of like, you don't throw the gun out. We need to really know if he did it or not. And And they ended up going through with it, and it worked. So do you think that they made the right decision to do it anyway? Well, they did it because they found out it was planted. Right. So with that information, you think they made the right decision?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's sticky.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with yeah.
Yeah, because I felt bad for Marc because that has to be such a weird place emotionally. It's like you have this sticky situation with your dad. He abused you growing up. You kind of believe deep down he's a bad person, but you don't want to believe that because he's your dad. And now you have a situation where he's on trial for murder. He's never showed any type of murderish traits, if there are traits for being a murderer. But, you've seen him do really bad things. So it's like, do you go with your gut that's kind of saying, no, he's not that person? Or do you go off of how he's been as a person to you and y'all's current relationship state to make a decision on whether to throw it out or not?
Right. It's been quite a roller coaster ride between the two of them. And even their little powwow in jail, I was like, oh, wait, he's getting up and yelling. Like, this is a different, I guess this is the same guy that Marc has always known. But I feel like this is our first time seeing him get this way. But I guess they both kind of finally got what they had to say off their chest. Like, I was sitting here, I'm like, was this a step back or a step forward? Like,
yeah, I think it was a breakthrough. I think, they had to just come to a point where they're like, look, let's just put everything aside and get through this case. I have my own personal feelings about you, but I'm going to try to put that aside for the sake of getting what's right. But do you think that if they didn't find out that the gun was planted, that one, that the lawyer would have gone through with trying to get the gun thrown out? And two, do you think that she should have had to take Marc's opinion into whether or not she threw the gun out?
I don't think Marc's opinion should matter because
he's not his lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second, what was the first? What was the first question?
The first question is, do you think that she still would have gone through with it even if they didn't find out that the gun was planted and that he was set up?
Yeah, I think that she was going to do whatever she could to get the gun out because that would be the biggest piece of evidence to have the actual murder weapon in the home. The case pretty much closed.
Yeah, because it makes me wonder, do you think that Marc hired her because he genuinely wanted to win the case or because he wanted to know the truth? Like, what do you think is more important for him? His dad getting off and maybe he could have done it or, finding out the truth and, getting him off?
I think based off what he said he deserves to rot in jail if he did it. So I think, back to what you were saying, this is my dad, but I also know that I also feel that you could be capable of murdering someone. So I think that he doesn't want to obviously put his dad in jail, but I think that he's in favor of justice. So I think he would have put him in jail.
Yeah. Do you think he would have had that conversation, that kind of heart-to-heart moment with his dad if he didn't have that conversation with Lola?
Yeah, I think Lola kind of forces Marc to deal with this on a rational point, on a rational...
She's like his voice of reason.
Yeah, and even when he doesn't want to hear it. So you're probably right. He probably wouldn't have the conversation. And as far as hiring Amy, I think that he hired her because he knew she was a good lawyer and he at least deserved a fair chance at proving that he was innocent. But I was thinking, I wrote in my notes, I'm like, you're still paying your dad's lawyer fees.
Yeah.
As much as you were doing all of this and you say you hope he goes to jail or you hope this, you hope that, you're still footing the bill for those lawyer fees.
Very good point.
So are you that mad?
Yeah, why pay all this money to have him lose,
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Let us know in the live chat or in the comments what you think. Do you think Marc was right in thinking that his dad was guilty? Do you think that they should have, kept the gun in the equation? What do you think? Let us know in the live chat and in the comments, and let us know what you think. All right.
Ladies, actually, there is a comment by Logan Knight.
Hey, Logan.
And he says, I think the lawyer would have done her job and got the gun thrown out, but tell Marc his input doesn't matter since it's her case, not his.
Interesting. I always wondered that with their dynamic because, they are friends and even though she's a hired lawyer, she's kind of doing him a favor. So is she going to do what she feels Marc should do, or is she just being a good lawyer trying to win a case? So that's a good point. Thank you, Logan, for that input. All right, let's move on to Lola. She went to D.C. to visit her man, child. She was like, I got to see my man. They've been doing Skype, and we haven't seen him a lot on the show.
I just found his name is Robin.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think I ever knew he was in D.C. I knew he was off for work. Well, one, I didn't even know he was in a different state. I just thought he was a super busy super busy FBI agent in the same state, so he just didn't see him. But I didn't realize they were on completely two different sides of the United States. And so now she's gone to D.C. to see him, and he's about to take a job in D.C. And surprisingly, at least in my opinion, I felt like Lola was very, like, calm and kind of laid back about it. If it were you, would you be upset that he's decided to take a job all the way across the country?
I don't know. It's great for me. So what I got from it was a temp job. So he went there on temporary. Like she said, I was committed to thinking that you were going to come back. And here you are staying.
Right.
I feel like he did a lot of like trying to convince her, but I feel it just didn't seem genuine to me. And maybe because, you know, we already kind of are like, how come you haven't been here this whole episode?
Yeah.
We're kind of sketchy about you anyway.
Yeah.
But it just seems like he's like, and you know, I can make a change. We can get him to stop calling him inner cities. Like he was like really pitching this to her. But it was also like I kind of never felt like she was going to say no because she made it clear, like, these are the reasons why I love you. Like, you're so passionate and all these things. So I never felt like she was saying no. So I feel like he was almost over-pitching to me, which made me, like, side-eye. What are your real intentions here?
Yeah, for me, one, I was annoyed that she came all the way there and he left her. They went to the party, he left her. Everything just kind of seemed to be about him. And it's like, well, do you care at all about her feelings? And that's why I was surprised in Lola being so, like, firm in her morals and always speaking up for herself, that she was a little bit more timid about how she really felt about him leaving. She just kind of let him do it. And it's, to me, I kind of felt like, not that she's a pushover, but that she doesn't have a voice. Because it was never, what do you think, babe? Or how do you feel about this?
How does it affect me?
Right, exactly. It was, this is the job. This is what it's going to be able to do for me. I'm going to be able to do this. But did he ever at any point in the episode say, what do you think about this? How is this going to affect you? Are you okay with this?
Right.
So, and it kind of frustrated me that she never said her piece about it. She kind of just let it be. Do you think, though, if she was like, no, I don't want you to leave, like, we're going to have to figure something out, that he would have been like, okay, I'll stay? Because at the end of the episode, he was like, if you don't like it, you know, I can come back. So it's like, well, well, then don't go then, you know?
Right.
So do you think that he would have changed his mind if she was like, I don't want you to go?
No, I feel like he knew he was going to take the job anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that she, like you said, she had much of an input or like her opinion wasn't really valued.
Do you think that, because honestly, I feel like to be in the FBI, DC is a good place to be, but I feel like you can live anywhere and be a judge. So do you think that maybe the discussion of her moving to DC should have been on the table at some point?
That could be something that they introduced down the line. I feel like it would have been a lot for this episode, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes up in a couple episodes where she's like, I actually can't do this. I don't like Kansas.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know if I could do it. Could you be in a relationship where it's that far of a distance?
I know, that far of a distance. But, you know, they both make good salaries. I know you saw that luggage and her belt. Like, she's always well dressed. So I think with money, it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
And she clearly has like this, she doesn't work weekends. So, yeah, I think it could work when you have the money to support it.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess she's more okay with it because she's in a position where she's going after something she really wanted. So why stop him from doing it? But at the same time, you know, y'all are married, and I don't think it's good for a marriage to live that far away from each other, especially when she's always so cozy with Marc. Like, maybe if he saw that they be having their little stairwell dates, then he'll be like, oh no, either you're gonna have to come to DC or I'm gonna have to come to LA, because I just can't imagine in a marriage being that far away from someone.
But it's only for a year.
Yeah, true. But it could turn into longer than a year. You never know.
True.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens. Really quick, let's talk about Sherry. Do you think she's kind of letting up on Police Day?
She is, but I think he's learning how to play her game. Did you see him like give a little lines and walked off on her, and she was like shocked. So I'm invested. You know, I've been waiting for Frisky Sherry.
Oh, yes.
So
she's kind of letting her guard down. And it's funny because, like, he kind of knows that she's testing him, but he's up for the challenge. And I like it. I love all the guys on the show are so patient. Oh my gosh, you had Luke. He was waiting it out. He was like, I'm going to be here for you when you're ready. Then you had Police Bay. He's like, I'm going to handle all your tests. Like, where are these men in real life? They're not in LA. I promise you they're not. So it's good to see, you know, him being so patient and, you know, kind of just dealing with the jab she's throwing. But it looks like she's kind of letting up. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. All right, let's get into news and gossip.
News and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So a few days ago, it was our favorite judge, Miss Lola Carmichael, also known as Simone Mystic's birthday on January 19th. So happy birthday, Simone. She got to celebrate with her cast and her crew at CBS. Sorry. They got her some orchids and a vegan cake because, you know, she's vegan, and they had her cute little face on it. So that was a cute surprise.
Happy birthday, Simone.
I know. She looked really good, too. I know she posted on her Instagram a picture of her going out. Yes. She looked really good.
Yes.
You're right. Like,
who knew Simone created glitter? Yes, sparkles.
Right. And so also she's nominated for an NAACP award for Best Outstanding Actress in a Drama.
I love it.
So she's up against Regina King, Angela Bassett, Viola Davis. So those are some pretty big names that most of us love to watch.
Some heavy hitters.
Right, weekly. So I think it's amazing that she's even up there.
Yeah.
She does an amazing job on the show. So very much so well-deserved. And I hope she wins.
Yes.
The award show's actually on February 22nd, so I'll be watching.
Yeah, keep our fingers crossed. I'm so happy for her. She's nominated Angela Bassett, Viola Davis. Oh my gosh. Yeah, those are some heavy hitters. So she's definitely in a pool amongst greats. So good for her. All right, let's talk really quick about a weird court case that we have. All right, so this one is Beware of Killer Whales. In 1999, Daniel Dukes tragically died while trying to achieve his lifelong dream of swimming with a whale. So he hid himself from SeaWorld security guards and was instantly killed by the whale after the park was closed. So I guess don't get in a pool with whales. You'd think that the lesson would have been clear in that, but his parents actually filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against SeaWorld for failure to display public signs warning the dangers whales can cause to humans. Let's talk about that because, you know, I don't think I need a sign to know that I probably shouldn't swim in with a whale. What about you?
So let me tell you what he should have done. He should have took 10% of his paycheck every month, granted, hoping that he has a job, and gone on Groupon and gone to swimming with the dolphins and called it a day.
Yeah.
You didn't have to break into SeaWorld and get mauled by a whale. Like, this is just... No, like there were just so many other
things he could have done. It's just like if you have to sneak through security to do it, I think that's a sign enough that you shouldn't be doing it. I don't think you really need a sign that says it's unsafe to swim with a whale. I mean, I guess he thought because he see the SeaWorld people out there with the whales, the trained people.
He could have got trained.
Yeah, there's so many things he could have done. But the suit ended up being quietly dropped. Nobody knows why it got dropped. The family just had a change of heart and was like, we're not going to do it. Maybe they came to the realization that our idiot son shouldn't have been in a whale tank, but, you know, RIP to him. At least he achieved his dream of swimming with the whale. You know, he accomplished his dream, so good for him, I guess. Yeah, all right, let's get into predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Lola and her husband are going to break up.
Really?
And we're going to get this black woman judge dating in LA feel. But I do think that this show does things very tastefully when it comes to Lola. And I don't know if because she's like putting her foot down or, you know, who's in their writing. But I think that she's going to have a different, like, I don't think, what was the Gabrielle Union show when she just couldn't
being Mary Jane?
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to take the Mary Jane
I
route.
hope not.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very like, ooh, I have so many choices. There's such great men. Like, and I would like to see that in terms of like, we already have this amazing black judge. I would like to see them change the narrative for, you know, though dating as a black woman is very difficult.
Yes.
I would like to see a positive example.
Right. Very, very true. That's a big one. Oh my gosh. Do you think, just going off your prediction, that she could end up with Marc if they ever broke up?
I don't, because they already said that they wouldn't. But I
Yeah.
also think in terms of, to what I said, dating as a black woman in LA, like interracial dating, like I don't think that they would take that route.
Got it. I think my prediction is that Sherry and Police Bay end up a thing. I don't know I hope they don't break up because I love Black love, but I think before they break up, maybe her moving to DC becomes a thing. And then that's going to become a whole what's going to happen with everything kind of situation. But I could see that happening on like a last season because I feel like if she moved to DC, it would just completely change the show. Yeah. And I think we're going to see a lot of growth with Marc and his dad. I think they're finally going to resolve those issues that they have with each other. But either way, we know our prediction is that it's going to be some more good episodes.
What about Lemily? What do you think of Lemily?
Oh, Lemily, I know. We didn't really get much from them this episode, even though they kind of had a little bit of a spat.
Yeah.
So,
she said, what did she say when she was walking away? She said, this is me making a statement, like about not hugging. I was like, I'm going to have to try that.
I know. I think they're going to continue to move on. I think maybe they're just having some growing pains. And, arguments come in a relationship, but I think they're going to continue to work it out. I do think, though, in seeing Emily, he is going to decide not to become on the defense because he's still trying to figure out if he's going to do prosecution or be on the defense. And I think he's going to decide to go the opposite route from her. So we'll have to wait.
Some more arguments to come, basically.
Exactly. Basically, yeah. All right. Well, this has been so fun, but we got to get on out of here. Zuri, let the world know where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Zuri Chellece.
Yes, and you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram as well at I am Lexi Fierce, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Talking TV with Lex. Yes, yes, yes. All right, we will see you next week. Buzz you guys later.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.